Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for its 28th year of NFL action. Just click the link below in my description box and sign up today. BetUS.com, where the game begins. Long enough to cover the subject and short enough to keep it interesting. Welcome to Outta My League. I'm Nick Diaz. We do it every week around this time. It's time to go position by position and coach by coach to buy, sell, or hold LSU stock after beating Auburn and going into the Tennessee game. So I talked ad nauseum about the quarterbacks and the offense yesterday, and I'll break down how they match up against Tennessee, but we'll start with the defense. Defensive back room. Hold. Look, I think we found the defense's kryptonite after 5 games. I think I have. It's running quarterbacks. LSU shuts down Mississippi State's air raid passing game and a pocket passer in Will Rogers. They shut him down on 3rd down, 4th down, all those things, but yet they give up 330 yards to Robbie Ashford and 260 yards to Jordan Travis. What's the common denominator? Dual threat quarterbacks. And if you're watching the game, LSU's defensive backs are constantly moving up to make a play instead of just keeping their eyes downfield, as opposed to just keeping their eyes in the backfield and kind of cheating up every time the quarterback scrambles outside the pocket. That's why you're seeing busted coverages against players like Robbie Ashford. That's why LSU couldn't get off the field on 3rd down in both of those games. They had a huge problem with that, especially against Florida State. Now, that's going to be kind of a problem going up against Hendon Hooker in Tennessee. He's probably the best dual-threat quarterback in college football right now. Now, maybe this is just a blimp on the radar because, look, the defensive backs are still making big plays. Greg Brooks, Jay Ward, Jarrett Bernard-Converse at corner and safety. Mekhi Garner right now is the top-rated cornerback in the SEC per Pro Football Focus. Now, it's Pro Football Focus, but still. But, however, I'm seeing a pattern. I'm starting to see a pattern in why they're having struggles in those games. So, for now, even though they're playing great, we'll hold going into Tennessee. Linebacker, bye. I don't really have to say this, but Harold Perkins, I think he's the best defensive freshman in all of college football. And that's not a homer take. What surprises me even more is not his freakish athleticism, which we knew he had. It's the fact that he mentally is acting like he's a senior. His instincts are otherworldly. His instincts are, dare I say, Tyrann Mathieu-ish as a freshman. You're just born with that. And that's not my opinion. That's not a homer take. That's opinions from football people I trust outside of LSU. LSU looked much better on defending Robbie Ashford's scrambles when they put Harold Perkins in as a spy quarterback. Now, maybe that's a recipe for success against Tennessee. We'll see, but definitely buying in the stock in the linebackers. Defensive line, buy. B.J. Ojulari is the SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week for the 2nd time in this short season. And he's going to be a top 10 pick. If I've ever seen one, he will be a top 10 pick. Jaquelin Roy is finally getting healthy, which I didn't realize he had a back injury he was kind of nursing, but he's back to his normal self. Mekhi Wingo has been as consistent as you can ask for in replacing Mason Smith. And they're facing a hell, and I mean a hell of a run game and a running quarterback against Tennessee. Now, they're going to have to hold their lanes and gaps facing that dual-threat quarterback. That's part of the issue that Tennessee poses. And on top of that, Tennessee's offensive line is very good at running the football. Running the ball and keeping, at least trying to keep Hendon Hooker in the pocket, even though he's a great passer. That'll be a key. That's how they get their offense going. Stop the run. So for now, we buy. Coaches. Brian Kelly, the head coach. Buy. It's not pretty. Okay, nothing up to this point has been totally pretty, but that was, as he put it, a culture win against Auburn. Embrace the come-up. You find ways to win. You find ways to not give up on the road in Jordan-Hare Stadium, and you pull that win out of your ass. That is buy-in. That's culture. More importantly, look at what Brian Kelly has done with his transfers. Greg Brooks, game-winning interception. Jarrett Bernard-Converse had an interception and has played safety and cornerback with injuries back there. He can do both. Found him in the transfer portal. Mekhi Garner, he is the top-rated cornerback in the SEC per Pro Football Focus. got him from ULL. Mekhi Wingo has played well with Mason Smith hurt. Punter, James Bramblett, out of Notre Dame. He had a great punt near the 1-yard line. Best special teams play of the season so far. Brian Kelly has scouted the right players to bring into his program, and Brian Kelly has those players bought into the program. You buy in stock in Brian Kelly. LSU definitely made the right hire. Offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock. Look, I get a lot of the problems right now are quarterback and wide receiver issues. The players at the end of the day have to go out and execute. You can call the easiest pass play in the world for a quarterback, and if he just overthrows it, well, there's only so much you can do. But at the same time, I feel like Mike Denbrock can do more. He can do more. Shorter passing games. Do it early and often. Look, he got Kayshon Boutte the ball on that jet sweep. It ended up being called back for a penalty, but fuck, man, do more of those. Why only one? Do more bubble screens to those wide receivers to get them going and get their confidence up. Get your quarterback in a rhythm. Do it early and not later. Look, I still think Mike Denbrock is a good offensive coordinator. He is. Is he necessarily elite? No, but then again, he doesn't have to be, and not every offensive coordinator needs to be successful at LSU. But at the same time, 5 passing yards in the second half with those wide receivers, dude, I'm sorry, no excuses. You got to be better. The good news is Tennessee has the 128th pass defense in college football. 128th. That's kind of fucking horrible. And to put it all on top, Tennessee found out yesterday that their best cornerback is now out for the season. 128th pass defense just lost their best cornerback. So, LSU may not win the game Saturday, but this is a get-right game for their passing offense, win or lose. We'll see, but until then, 5 yards in the second half, we sell. Defensive coordinator Matt House. Bye. I'm loving this guy's in-game adjustments. You're down 13-0 against Mississippi State. You only give up 3 more points the rest of the game. You're down 17-0 to Auburn. You shut them out 3 straight quarters after that. Look, he's done a great job, but he's going to earn his damn money this week against the fastest, and I mean the fastest offense in all of college football. And it's going to test Matt House because he loves those creative substitutions. Well, it's going to be a hard time doing that against a up-tempo offense going that fast. But I trust him to at least give this Tennessee offense the best challenge that they've seen so far this young season. Special teams coordinator Brian Polian. Hold. They get better in certain areas just every single week. A little bit better. Kicking, punting, punt return. I mean, those things are getting better, but then you get the penalties on those coverages and missed assignments and all that stuff. But slowly just kind of figuring things out. Maybe not as fast to my liking, but look, I always said that my observation of Brian Kelly as a whole, from when he took the LSU job up until all the offseason, was it appears his philosophy in building this program was slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. Well, apparently Brian Polian believes that too and is slowly fixing these special teams problems. It's not great right now, but he's fixing one problem at a time, and it objectively is getting better, but still not good, so we hold. Offensive players, quarterback, sell. I don't need to explain why after my rant yesterday. You can go back and listen to it. Running back, hold. John Emery is slowly shaking off the rust, but he's kind of stumbling on himself to do so. It'll take time, but he's still making sloppy mistakes. Look, I understand the offensive line had a miscommunication on that fumble, but you still fumbled the ball in a key situation. Gave it back to Auburn. No excuse. But you lost Armani Goodwin for the next 4 to 6 weeks, who is your best running back up to this point. However, Josh Williams and Noah Cain are stabilizing. They're stabilizing, and they're doing what they need to in key situations. So right now, I got to say hold. Offensive line, bye. They get better every single week. Brad Davis, and I think the defensive backs coaches are the MVPs of this staff so far. And Auburn, has a better defensive line than Mississippi State. Here's a stat for you. Brian Kelly said that LSU is averaging 6 yards per carry in the second half against SEC opponents Mississippi State and Auburn. 6 yards per carry in the second half. That's coaching. That's development. That's conditioning. Very important. And the offensive line pass protection got tested. Emory Jones got pushed around, but he battled back in the second half. And the run blocking has been fantastic. But, here's the but. Tennessee this week. You know how I said Tennessee's pass defense is kind of horrible? Well, that's not the case with their run defense. Tennessee's run defense is elite. They are third in the SEC in total run defense. And they are 20th in the nation. 20th in the nation, and they are third in the SEC. This will be the biggest test this Saturday for that offensive line. Hopefully, Garrett Dellinger is playing well with his clubbed hand, but still, either way, I'm buying stock. Wide receiver. Okay, I know most of you are going to say, sell, Nick, sell those motherfuckers. I'll say hold. And I explained why in the episode yesterday. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. But I know there are dropped passes. I know, and I'm not making excuses. But at the same time, when your quarterback can't or, won't throw the damn ball and your offensive coordinator is not doing enough to get you touches, I have sympathy for you. I have sympathy. Not excuses, but sympathy. Can the wide receivers do more in certain situations? Yes, they can. I demand that they do. But I do have sympathy. When you're not engaged in the game that long for one reason or another, you tend to drop passes and lose focus. That's just the nature of the position. And also, let me say this. Going forward, I just have a hard time believing all of these wide receivers, all of them now suck. And they're all sucking under the coaching of Cortez Hankton. I just have a really hard time believing that. That just seems unfathomable to me. So, for the time being, we hold. Thanks for listening to Out of My League. If you like what you heard, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Or follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok in the description link below.